aileron.
My aileron is so far out.
Why?
Well, whether it's a torque.
I don't think there's enough horizontal surface from the looks of it. If you put a bigger propeller, it'll probably just a torque roll. That's a nice shot.
Here we have the F22 that I've built out of RC Power's PDF plans. You can see it's sort of unfinished. I haven't sanded it or anything, painted, nothing yet. Under the battery compartment, you can see that I've fixed the battery on with 8 magnets, rare earth magnets. Really helps keep the canopy in there in place. You can see we've got aileron and the elevator with the motor pushing the propeller, which is actually just a normal propeller, spinning the motor backwards with the propeller on backwards to hopefully sort of, really needs to be a proper push prop. But that's 8x4 on at the moment with a 1900 kilovolt motor. Vertical stabilizers on an angle, typical F22 style. It's view down the side. I don't have the bottom cover on at the moment because I'm fixing up the elevator at the moment. Here's the underside. I'll just lean it on the vertical stabilizers. I made a hole for the battery cable to come out the bottom. This is just so I can plug it in without taking the cover off, as the speed controller is just right there. So it's simple, it's easy, and also it's probably a bit safer. You can see that the plane is unplugged. A 40 amp speed controller, the Turnigy one, just cheapy, does the job. I've had to extend the power wires. I normally hot glue these into place, keep them all nice and still. That goes all the way back to the motor, using banana plugs just so I can easily remove it. I haven't got the elevator hooked up. There's 2 servos for that. One on the top that does one side, the other at the bottom that's in reverse on the other side. This sort of helps with the strength. There needs to be a lot of strength. I was almost thinking about just having a normal standard size servo in there, but it's about the same. There's 2 servos for aileron. As you can see, receiver, I use it for tub 7C, so I've got a little wire going out one side and another one here. Does the job. Heaps of range with this. It flew about 100 meters away. Here's the cover. I'm using micropore surgical tape. This is what you use when you go to hospital. Sort of holds the dirt pretty well. That fits in there. I normally just tape it on rather than gluing it on, so I can pull the whole thing off, get to everything without, sort of didn't want to do the hatch sort of idea. I probably could have done that with Velcro, but oh well. I could probably even put this on with Velcro, thinking about that now. My first flight with this plane caused a few problems. Mostly because this is the first time I've ever flown a plane that I've built myself. And the biggest problem I had was when it was in the air, I had to have almost full right aileron. This is because of the torque of the motor. As the motor's spinning, it's trying to twist the plane. So you've got to put in opposite aileron to stop the plane wanting to twist in the air. It'll try and bank over. As you're flying with full power, and as you throttle off it'll actually decrease. The way you get around this is you put a bit of right thrust in. Now right thrust is actually, well, really confusing when you put it backwards on the back of the plane, but this has worked out. This is what I've done. You can see that there's very slight angle. Actually it's huge. Before, when I was flying with the other elevator setup, I just had one washer right here on this one bolt. And that tilted the motor just a little bit. Actually it's over here. Tilted the motor just a little bit off its normal angle, so it's tilted away from the normal angle. Since then I've sort of had a couple of incidents and ripped off this whole section of the elevator on one side. I glued that on and then crashed again on the next flight, ripped off the other side. So what I've done now is I've built it again. I'll put a 3mm hollow carbon rod through the elevator. I've moved the motor back because I had a bit of problems with the propeller actually hitting. The 8x4 propeller hits the elevators when it's fully back at about here. I had it, so I've had to cut it out here now still, and it still hits, but we'll see how it goes once I spin it up. Put a piece of plywood to strengthen up the mount. This is all epoxied on. It's another piece of plywood. It's slightly longer to stop the flex happening on the ends, because this is what really caused the problems with the accident. See, this is a rebuilt elevator. I had problems with the tape that I was using. Surgical tape just doesn't last. I could have probably epoxied over it and it would have been alright, but I've just used fiber tape from another kit. We'll see how this goes. I think it should be better. There's heaps of thrust angle on the motor, so there should be a lot less torque when it's flying. This little divot here won't look that bad in the air, and when I paint it I probably could hide it even more. Maybe get a proper propeller as well at the same time.